Well, good afternoon, everybody. Why am I saying good afternoon? It's not.
It's 9:50 in the morning. How long have you been up?
It's been a long day, to be fair. I woke up at 5:40, and a lot of things that could go wrong have gone wrong already today. However, here we are, and we're here because something else went wrong.
Yes,
Are we not?
We are here because technical difficulties.
Yeah, we were together last week, Carla and myself, and we had a lovely time. I went up to Bristol to visit Carla, and we filmed a couple of videos, one for my channel, one for Carla's channel, sitting in the car. And when I came to edit the footage of the one we filmed for my channel this week, there was about 30 minutes of footage, and there was only sound for the first 5 minutes, which some of you, to be fair, may think is a good thing.
Yeah, probably 25. But I don't know if anybody wants to look at us for 25 minutes, but certainly not listening to us for 25 minutes would be a bonus.
Yeah, you could do that without the need to look at us, though, couldn't you? Anyway, Carla very kindly said on her precious day off that she would record it with me again because
whether we will hit the heights of brilliance that we hit the first time, who knows?
It's unlikely, isn't it? I feel like we peaked.
I don't know what's going on. Excuse me, I'm going to cough. I don't know what's going on with the lighting in this video, but it's taken about 10 years off me. I can't stop looking at my youthful face.
It has actually, yeah.
The lighting in the car the other day added 20 years, and I look like I just crawled out the crypt.
I've been so. William said to me last night, "Have you got fake tan on your face?" And I said, "Well, yes, I actually have, because I looked literally like a corpse. I was so white and pale owing to this winter that I had no foundation that didn't make me look like an Oompa Loompa."
Yeah.
So
summer's coming. We're going to get some sunshine at some point.
It's true. It's the third day of torrential rain here, but we didn't come here to talk about the weather. We came here to talk about, I asked on Instagram your thoughts about influencing and influencers, whether you had any questions or comments or things you hated or things you loved or anything you wanted to share on the subject of influencing. And we thought we'd answer those. Sorry?
They did have things they wanted to say.
They had thoughts, didn't they? They had thoughts. So I've fished the questions out of the delete book. Thankfully, an iPhone does keep deleted things for 30 days. So I've fished the questions back out of the bin so we can answer them again. Hopefully, as you say, we'll be more polished this time. Let's start with a question from Kim Gale, who says, "Do you ever get influenced by another influencer?" Do you want to go first?
I definitely do. I'm sorry, I've typically got a frog in my throat. I'm very susceptible to being influenced by adverts, by social media adverts, but also definitely if you buy something, I want it.
Yeah. I'm the same. So many things that YouTubers have talked about, particularly people that I've watched for a long time. If it's someone I've watched for a long time and they're talking about something that they've enjoyed, I think, oh, I will probably like that. I guess that's why you watch people for a long time, because you like the same sort of things, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. I think the people that you don't enjoy the same things, you don't tend to enroll, is what my brain's giving me. What's it called? Subscribe.
Yeah, but I'm very suggestible. Yes, if somebody's showing, so I've been influenced a lot and regularly, I would say.
Yeah, hugely. I think if everyone wasn't easily susceptible, then this little fly, then the term good God, the term influence would never have been coined at all, would it? So
that's true. Yeah,
I'm just as susceptible as the next person to seeing something like that. And quite often things that I have to talk myself out of because I don't have the right lifestyle for the thing that I've been influenced into wanting. I don't have the right lifestyle. I don't have the right home, Yeah,
I can't remember what it was I put into a basket on something, either TikTok shop or some website that somebody had promoted. And I thought, I really want that. And I didn't need it. It wasn't something I knew. I can't remember what it was. I think it was some piece of clothing. I thought, I'm never going to have the occasion I don't go to the sort of place that would require me to wear an item like this. But, I wanted it nonetheless.
Yeah.
I didn't buy it.
Dungarees were a case in point. All of the influencers wearing dungarees. I bought dungarees. I look like a Teletubby in them. I know I do. I look back at me wearing them and I think you look like a cross between a very cheerful primary school teacher and a Teletubby. You weren't the right choice for me, but I was influenced into wanting you.
Let's move on. There was a few questions in this sort of comments in this sort of vein, and Mrs. Marsden says, why do influencers all promote the same product at the same time? Always the same bloody products. Anna Louisa and AG1. I'm sick of them.
I did say, I remember saying when we talked about this the first time round, I remember saying I have been influenced against Purdy and Fig because I'm so sick of the Purdy and Fig adverts on everybody's channel that I now don't want any bloody Purdy and Fig. And I'm sure it's lovely. I'm sure it's great. But if they offered me now, I'd be like, no, thank you, because it's oversaturated. I think the answer to why we all do the same things is because we all get offered it at the same time and nobody tells you that they've also offered it to X, Y, and Z people. And as you know, your algorithm points you in the direction of people who are similar to the people you already watch. And their marketing strategy also points them towards people who are of a similar demographic. So they send out their marketing to YouTubers in the 50 to 60 age bracket. And we all go, that sounds like something nice. And when you accept it, you haven't seen anyone else doing it.
Absolutely, yeah, because there's quite a long lead time between getting contacted by a brand and then getting contract signed or whatever and agreeing terms and then them sending you the product, having a chance to try out the product, then filming, then any edits that are required. So it's quite a lengthy process, isn't it? So when they initially contact you, as you say, you haven't seen it on anybody, and then it starts popping up.
Yeah, you do all the work, and you do the video, and you do all the thing, and you put your video up, and then you click on your For You page and discover that It's Em and Caroline Mrs. Em have just released the same video.
Exactly. Talking of which, 2 points I thought would be worth making on this. The first one is that I guess it's only from the brand's point of view, it's the same as when you're watching, for example, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here on the TV, and every single advert break at the beginning and the end of it is the person who's sponsored a little advert for whoever's sponsoring the TV program, which used to be Iceland when I used to watch. And you get absolutely sick of seeing it. I agree. But it's probably market saturation, is it, to make you remember it?
Saturation is a deliberate technique, isn't it? Because that's what sticks in your head.
Yeah, absolutely.
In your head.
And the other thing I was going to say is when we become aware, this has happened quite recently actually, when we become aware that a brand will send out stuff to us possibly at the same time. You and I, while I was with you actually, we both had the email from a clothing brand that we both do videos for, and we liaised about what items we were going to choose, didn't we?
So we don't both show you the same outfits.
Exactly that. So we do try and, if we are aware, we do try and mitigate it. Yeah. But yes, I know what you mean. And as you say, Purdy and Fig, and yeah, HelloFresh is another one, isn't it? That's a market saturation thing. So yeah. Let's answer another one. Wandering Welsh Lady says, why do influencers turn posts into ads? I simply turn off as soon as I see ad.
That's an interesting one. For starters, that we have to put ad. We legally have to tell you this is an advert. You have to announce that. We're not allowed to pretend it isn't. We have to do that. If you don't like ads, then what that does, it gives you the opportunity to go, this won't be for me. So from that point of view, that's quite a positive thing. You go, I won't enjoy this. But I don't know. I don't know about the phrase turn posts into ads.
I guess they just mean putting ads on their channel.
Yeah. Why do we bother advertising at all? Is that the question?
I guess so. I mean, obviously, it's anybody's prerogative to turn off at any point they want. And if you don't want to see an ad, then absolutely, yeah, turn off. You're doing the right thing. But from my point of view, I don't think I would still be doing YouTube in the way that I do it unless it earned me an income.
Yeah.
And ads pay for the time it takes us to make videos.
You wouldn't be able to commit the number of hours it takes to keep a YouTube channel running without there being some kind of monetary reward attached, because it's a part-time job.
Yeah,
it's a part-time job, and if I wasn't being recompensed for these hours, then I'd have to put those hours into a different job where I was, because at the end of the day, it's bills to pay.
Absolutely. Let's move on to Sandra Penders says, are influencers computer whizzes with tech for editing, etc.? Funnily enough, just before we press record, we have been discussing.
Firstly, the reason we're here today is because we're not computer wizards, and if we were, we might have known how to retrieve the sound from the missing previous video. Maybe a computer wizard would have gone, oh, if I press this, I'll get my sound back. But we're like, it's gone. It's gone forever.
No idea.
And if you'd seen us trying to get into this recording today, you would know the answer to your question.
Pitiful. Yeah, we're not tech wizards. I originally taught myself to edit through YouTube videos, YouTube tutorials.
Yeah.
There's one to teach you to do anything these days, isn't there?
My editing skills are basic at best, and everything I know is through watching other people do it and trial and error. And I'm quite sure now that some of the ways I do things are probably, I'm going the long way round, but that's the only way I know. And certainly when I was with you one day, Caroline, you were doing something and you went, oh, I do that. And I was like, oh, I just do this. And you were like,
yeah, I still do it your way. I still drag the clip down and edit it at the bottom rather than editing it in the top window, which was what I did for literally years.
Yeah. So and again, we still don't know which way is the approved way, but I know that way works easier for me. So
yeah, definitely easier and quicker. And it's that is one of the joys of being friends with other people who do this, because information sharing is really useful.
Yeah, it's trial and error. And there is, like I said, there's a YouTube video, like you said, there's a YouTube video for everything. So one of the things I wanted to learn how to do was to have music playing, and then if a bit of talking came on, to just have the music go lower without me having to manually lower it. And I couldn't fathom that for about 4 years. And I finally found a little YouTube clip, and it's so simple.
Is it? Because I had to do that the other day.
So simple. I'll show you that one as well.
Yes. Let's move on. Kerry B. West says, why do influencers pretend to love a product they're selling and then never show it again?
I think that's a question that has a bit of an edge behind it, doesn't it? In the implication being that you're going to show us this because you're being paid. I think it's more that the fact that if we show you it again and again and again, we have to tell you that it's an advert every single time, even though it's only been an advert the first time. So the first time is when the company have asked us to do it, and some of those things are paid and some are unpaid. You judge for yourself whether you're going to charge a fee, various reasons. There's always various factors involved. But every single time that we show you that product again, we still have to say ad or gifted or whatever. And if we do that, you will assume that we are being bombarded with adverts from this company, that the company is continually asking us to re-advertise, etc., etc. And that's not the case. It's usually a one-off thing,
I think as well that, I think that's a fair point. But I think as well, from my point of view, for example, if I'm advertising a robot Hoover, how many times do you want to see my robot Hoover? But why would I show it to you again once, or an air fryer, or
don't assume that we never use it again. One of the things I said in the previous video, these earrings at the back here are Anna Louisa, # not sponsored for this video. They were gifted. If I mentioned them every time I did a video, I'd have to tell you every time these were gifted from Anna Louisa, but I've worn them every single day since I got them. I've worn them every day for 2 years.
Yeah.
I never take them off. These are the earrings I wear. So
I think the last time we recorded this, I was also wearing Anna Louisa jewellery.
You change your jewellery regularly, don't you? You pick your jewellery for the day and for your mood.
Yeah.
Whereas I wear the same earrings every single day until I lose one, usually.
Mm. Yeah, I mean, I wear my Vivea shoes. I buy shoes from Vivea. I first was introduced to them from advertising them. I buy shoes from them. I wear them super regularly. I think that a day doesn't go by when I don't have a pair of Vivea shoes on at some point during the day, because I wear them as house shoes a lot.
I've never been approached by them, but I'd love to do them.
Yeah, but I don't go, oh, look, I'm wearing my... So, that's probably why. But yes, not every single thing I advertise I will continue using indefinitely, but that's the way of the world, isn't it? A lot of them I will.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. I mean, I did some pillows as well for an advert 3 or 4 years ago. I did some pillows. I'm still using those pillows. In fact, I went and bought another pillow because they sent me one and I liked it so much I bought another one for the other side of the bed, you know. So I still use those pillows, but I don't go every day and here is my so-and-so pillow, you know.
Yeah. It's Readly. I was introduced to them through advertising for them, and I kept the subscription for years, literally years after advertising them for magazine subscription. I really liked it, but I probably didn't say, "Oh, my Readly subscription." I don't know. Anyway, next question. I'm Emma Garvey. Not a question; it's a comment. She says, "I had to stop watching an influencer as everything they bought was beige."
The Mrs. Hinch years, when grey was hugely popular, and then grey went out and beige came in.
Oh, did you see she had her baby?
Yes, yeah. Vinny, yeah.
Bless her. So she's got Ronnie, Lenny, and Vinny.
Yeah, and 3 llamas.
Yeah, I can't remember their names.
I'm not sure now.
Roddy or Roderick is one of the llamas, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, there's a couple of that I watch that are very keen on beige and neutrals and referring to it as aesthetic. That's quite
gold and white was very in at one point as well. Everything was white and gold, white with gold accents.
Yeah.
Again, not this house, not here, not for.
No, love a bit of colour myself.
White.
But, people like beige, nothing wrong with that. But I guess you are more attracted to watch people who have similar taste to you. Maybe, I don't know.
I think that very, very clean people, very, very clean, very house proud people, they like beige and white. A, because they can see that it's clean and fresh, and B, because they're very good at keeping it clean and fresh. I think the lesser mortals like myself, who are not very good at keeping things clean and fresh, we like darker colours.
Yeah, navy blue is my favourite. Anyway, let's move on. Christina Scadden says, I think a lot of us envy all the free items you get and recommend, but we can't afford them.
I think that's a reasonable comment to make, that a lot of people go, well, it's not fair. You get all this stuff free and you don't even need it, and you've got the money to buy it if you wanted it. But that's marketing, that's advertising. You know, they want you to have the product so that you can show it. And we talked about magazine editors, didn't we? Getting sent huge baskets of samples of stuff. You know,
absolutely. I mean, magazines
it's PR to send things out. You know. Yeah,
and they're not. But also, they're not sending it to you for free. It's a quid pro quo. They are sending it to you
in exchange for several hours of your input.
Yeah, they want you to try it and enjoy it and talk about it and advertise them. So it's definitely not.
Yeah, when you actually look at it on an hourly rate basis, for example, if I make a standalone video where they've asked me to unbox the product, show it working, perhaps it's a cookery product and they want you to unbox it, they want you to show how it's put together, they then like you to make one recipe. By the time I've unboxed, shown it working, worked out how it works myself, shown it working, made recipe, etc., I have probably put in maybe 3 hours of basic time into that. And then I'm probably looking at another 1 to 2 hours of editing time. And then this doesn't include the back and forward with the emails, and perhaps you might send the video off for their approval because they want to make sure that you haven't, worked the item wrong or whatever.
Probably a day's work, isn't it, by the time
you're probably looking at, I would say, a good 6 to 7 hours work would be a minimum. For a standalone video, I'd say 6 to 7 hours work. If you assumed that your time is at least worth minimum wage of around about £11 an hour, you would expect that the time that you put into that is probably worth about £70 to £80. I mean, I'm not doing proper maths here. I'm just pulling figures from midair. The item that they're selling might be a £100 item. I've received £100 item, but I've put in at least £80 of work to get it. Suddenly, it's not a freebie anymore. Suddenly I've put 8 hours of time that I can't put into another job. I can't go and earn that money elsewhere because I'm using that time here.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. That's an additional point to the one we made in the first video, isn't it? So let's, Lady FM asks, do you enjoy or get pleasure from influencing, or do you feel pressure?
I don't know if I would say that I get pleasure from influencing. I don't think I sit around going, haha, people are going to buy this because of me. I don't think it's quite that. I enjoy making videos. I certainly enjoy opening stuff and seeing how it works and playing with new gadgets. I've always been a bit of a gadget, kitchen gadgets I love. So I certainly enjoy that. So I enjoy the aspect of looking at the stuff. I don't know if I get pleasure from the influencing itself.
I get pleasure from, I've recently advertised a teeth whitening device, which was actually really good and one of the best things I've ever advertised. And somebody left a comment the other day saying that they bought one and they'd had really good results from it and they're absolutely chuffed to bits. And so getting that sort of feedback, I love that. That's really nice.
You have to send me the
sort of thing. And I also really enjoy, I like the process of making a video, and I enjoy it when you've made a video for a client for advertising and they come back to you and say, it's absolutely perfect, I'm really pleased with it, thank you. Because that, you don't get an awful lot of, it's not like having a job where you've done a good job because your manager says you've done a good job because you haven't got a manager. So that is sort of like knowing that you've done a good job, which is nice.
And it is also lovely when they come back to you again and say, we'd like to work with you again. That's a huge boost. You're like, oh, I did do a good job, because like you said, there's precious little clap on the back here in this job, So they are pleased. If lots of people have gone to their website and purchased using your link, and they know that your viewers like it, that's always nice. Yeah. Sorry,
I would say, in answer to that, I would say I don't feel an awful lot. Sometimes I feel pressure in terms of getting a video ready on time and stuff like that. But mostly I enjoy it. Excuse me. bpain89 says the influencers assume that their followers are interested in the bizarre items they get for free. Bit of an edge in that one, do you feel?
Yeah, I don't assume that you're interested, but I hope that you will be. But I don't assume that.
The bizarre items that we get offered and turned down.
Yeah. When you see some of the stuff we don't show you.
The stuff we don't accept. Honestly, 75% of what I get offered, I look at it and I go, how is that relevant?
Yeah.
The way I choose stuff to show you, when people will approach me and I'll go, are my viewers going to be interested in that? And then, is that something I would like? And generally my viewers, I think those two are quite interlinked because you like the type of things that I like. But so much of it is just utterly useless that it just wouldn't be of interest at all. Yeah.
But no, I don't assume that people are going to be interested. I'm always surprised that people watch me at all. So,
well, there is that. I remember when I used to get about 50 views on a video, and I was imagining 50 people wanting to listen to me.
Yeah.
So that's a constant surprise, to be honest. The same person, bpain89, says many of the influencers I follow pretend that they make very little money from their channel. I've never seen, I can't really comment on that because personally I've never seen anyone say that. So
I don't see people talking about what they earn. Either people are very, very much, here is a video of what I earned from YouTube, or they don't talk about it at all. I don't see people saying that, that I don't very much. I think it's all relative, isn't it? It's all relative about what you think is a large amount and what isn't. I don't think we earn as much as people assume we earn. And I think people assume as well that you will get a flat rate per video, and it's so variable. I could have 5,000 views on a video and it might make 20 quid. And I could have 5,000 views on a different video and it might make 70 quid.
Yeah.
And we don't know how or why. We have no idea what. Oh, sorry, I've such an itchy nose. We have no idea.
Just to clarify, you're talking about Google AdSense here, which is
I'm talking about Google AdSense. I'm talking about what the actual video pays at the moment. Yeah. We have no idea. We can't influence that part, because that's based on how much advertisers are paying YouTube at that time and whether advertisers want to. We have no knowledge of the workings of that. So yeah, everything's so very variable. I don't know how much I'm going to earn next month, and yet my output remains the same. I put out 3 videos a week every week. My output remains identical. Very, very rarely is there anything extra, and very, very rarely is there anything less. And yet I have no idea how much I'm going to earn next month. Not a clue.
Nat Resells says, why is there an influencer accent? Again, something I've noticed.
No, there was, no.
Home
My
with
son
Mrs.
says that I speak more poshly when I'm with you than I do normally. So obviously I am social climbing.
I think a lot of us do that to a certain extent with other people. I certainly moderate the way I speak or change the way I speak a little bit. And I think
during an actual advert, you're much more conscious of what you're saying. And so perhaps that alters the way you speak, because you're quite often there are things that they want you to say. And you're very conscious of making sure that you get the point across. So you're probably paying more attention to the way that you're speaking. So perhaps that affects you in the actual advert.
possibly.
I probably speak differently in a segment when I'm showing something. I probably speak differently than I do in a segment when I'm at the park yelling at the dogs to come back. It's probably
yeah, possibly. At Home with Mrs. M, not me, a different Mrs. M, says, why do influencers always say not sponsored? It's very annoying. I say not sponsored because I want you to know when I'm not being paid to say so. I think we have to follow quite stringent guidelines in the UK on YouTube, not so much in America, which makes it a very unlevel playing field from the viewer's point of view, I think, because you're never quite sure when you're being advertised to with American YouTube channels. I think it's much clearer if people are following the guidelines on in the UK. But the not sponsored thing, I like to say it because I just want it to be clear. I apologize if it's annoying. I think it's quite important to say, oh, look, I got this jumper. For example, if I've got a new jumper from a brand that has sponsored me before and I'm showing it to you, I want to make clear that I've bought it with my own money. It's not something that I've been gifted. And I think because a lot of people are suspicious that they're being advertised to, you want to make it clear when it is an advert and when it's not.
It's literally, it's a disclaimer. It's please don't assume I'm being paid because I like this. Please don't assume that I like this and I'm not being paid to tell you so. It's just a disclaimer, because I think there's a great deal of assumption that people are sneaky about their adverts, that people are sneaking an advert in without telling you. I read an Instagram post yesterday, and if it's not an advert, then I'll eat my left foot. And yet she didn't put on there. She didn't put on their advert, and she didn't put on their not sponsored. It read like an advert. It was hashtagged like an advert, and yet at no point. And she's an English, a British-based creator.
On that subject, that leads quite well into the next one from Nadine Thomas, who says, why do influencers not properly declare ads and affiliate links, etc.?
Damned if you do, damned if you don't at this point.
Yeah. You can't please all the people, can you? Which is very true. I personally try very hard to declare absolutely everything exactly as I should, because I feel a responsibility to the viewers to do so. Most importantly, as a viewer of YouTube, I get irritated, just like Carla's just said, when you know you are being advertised to and it's not declared. I get annoyed by that, so I try to be extremely transparent. And I hope I succeed in that. I really do, because I try and be very transparent.
Yeah, I think I do my best to make sure that I put the right wording in the right places and the right disclaimers. And if you're supposed to put ad in the time, you'll try and remember to do it and things like that. I always put ad on the screen. I always put gifted if an item's been gifted rather than sponsored or whatever. Yeah,
I do agree with Nadine, though. I hate feeling like I've unsubscribed from channels before who don't declare properly, because it annoys me to that extent. Is this the last one? Sorry, I'm flicking through the questions on my phone.
And you recently defeated. And there's that pheasant again.
Nellie Kelly 1235 says, why do influencers buy so much crap?
I think you could take out the word influencers and put in people, couldn't you?
Yeah, fair point.
Because influencers aren't buying the stuff they're using to influence. Those are adverts. We're not buying that. If you mean things like shopping hauls, why do I as a person buy so much crap? Because I'm very susceptible to advertising and packaging and because I'm also influenced by other people. So I bought, I think I talked about this before, I bought all the stuff so that my pantry would have all the matching canisters, and taken it all out now because it doesn't work for my lifestyle, and I should have known that. But why do I buy so much crap? Because I'm as susceptible to the latest thing as anybody else. Why do you buy so many candles?
Because they make me happy. And I make no apology for it. None at all. It makes me happy to have a cupboard full of candles, and I use candles every day, and I can afford them. I'm not upsetting anybody. I'm not hurting anybody. I stopped
myself buying candles because I like them in the shop. I sniff them in the shop and they smell lovely, and I never like them. I never like them. So I'm like, why am I buying candles? I don't burn candles. I never remember to burn candles, and part of the reason is that I stopped lighting candles because I forget to blow them out. So then I won't burn the house. So I literally stand in a shop now and I go, oh, that one's nice, and then I force myself to put it back because I know I won't use it.
Sandra LK says, why do influencers promote a brand that they may not necessarily believe in? I personally don't. As I said before, my first thought is, will my viewers be interested in this? Is it something I would like? And I try. I mean, I have had instances before where I have agreed to promote a product, and when it has arrived and I've tried it, it hasn't worked for me, and I've gone back to the brand and said, I'm sorry, I cannot advertise this. It doesn't work for me. I don't believe in it. So that's just me.
I have had multiple instances where I've been offered sponsorship or an advert opportunity with websites that make dupes, fake designer brands. I don't do those because I personally feel uncomfortable about fake designer brands. I don't buy them when I go to Turkey. I feel like you've taken somebody else's hard work and you're riding the crest of their hard work, and I don't like that, and so I don't take those adverts. And I could be making money doing that. So we're not all completely unethical. Please don't assume that we'll all take whatever's going. I've had an advert, an offer this morning to do a sponsorship with a psychic, some kind of psychic service. I'll forward it to you if it's something you're interested in.
No, I wouldn't want to do an advert for it, but I'm fascinated by it.
Because it's something that I don't personally get on board with, and my viewers might be very much into that kind of thing. I don't get on board with it, so I'd have to be very disingenuous to start advertising it.
Yeah, absolutely. It fascinates me. I don't necessarily believe in all the psychics and things, but I am fascinated by it, mediums and all that.
I think the problem is that whilst you might not know whether it is genuine or not, it's far too easy to fake it.
Yeah, and I think
many unscrupulous people out there.
Cases of people getting a bit obsessed with that sort of thing and spending an awful lot of money on psychic phone lines and stuff, which is that's not great, is it? Anyway, interesting. We're having a brief intermission so we can say hello to Ted. There he is. What a handsome boy.
You've been a good boy this morning? You have? You would say that though, wouldn't you? Even if you'd been absolutely atrocious like you were last night. Yeah.
What did he do last night?
He was not ready to end the walk when I was, so he wouldn't come back and get on the lead. He just kept prancing around, slightly out of reach, being an idiot and doing big laps of the park. And then he managed to get out of the park gate while I was trying to wrangle him and shot off down the road. And luckily it's a very quiet road. There's no traffic ever. But there were two lads on bikes, and I said to them, "Oh, please be careful. I'm trying to get the dog back," and they were fine. And then I thought, if he decides to chase lads on bikes, he could be in Swindon by the time I finally got a hold of him. But then he was very much in the doghouse at that point.
He's going through a teenage years, I think.
He really is, yeah.
Right, let's end with one more, which is Marge834, who says, I hate the word influencer. No idea of an alternative, but hideous word.
I don't like it much myself. I prefer content creator.
Yeah, I do as well. I also think that's more accurate. We spend quite a short time influencing compared with the amount of time we spend creating content.
Yeah.
I would say. Oh, somebody else is behind you now.
Molly now. Hi, Molly. I don't identify as an influencer. Hi. There she is.
Oh, Molly identifies as a very handsome girl.
Beautiful. There's I don't know if you can see Darcy as well. Darcy's just there.
Oh, Darcy's here too. Oh, the whole gang.
Bella's downstairs, Right,
I think we've answered everything pretty much. There's a couple that are sort of the same as some of the others, but I think we're done. How long have we been? Is there a timer thing? God, 37
minutes. But you'll trim some bits out, won't you?
Yes. Well, I hope that was interesting or useful. Thank you, Carla, for doing it again. I'm sorry.
This is the last time, okay?
You may now go and enjoy.
This time it's over.
You can now enjoy your day off work.
Thank you. I'm going to go and make some videos.
Thank you very much. Right. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.